Happy birthday to you.
Oh, we both hit the high note.
Yeah, yeah. I always hit the high note. That's my signature.
I should hit the low note.
You're right. You got the deep voice and everything. Happy 1 year of Hard Ticket.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, honey.
This is it.
I love you.
Honey, I'm home.
Yeah, about 1 year ago, we're 1 day off, right? But
yeah, just 1 day.
We launched a little podcast that you're listening to right now. If you can hear me, it's called Hard Ticket, where we go to the movies expecting to watch a double feature. But that pesky movie theater always seems to be playing both the movies at the exact same time. So we have a hard ticket to choose between the two. The little podcast that did 1 year so far.
Yes,
so, yeah.
that could do 1 year, and we're going to go do another year.
We are. I'm excited. I'm not going to say surprised that we made it to a year, but it has been... Watching 2 movies a week for the intention of the show has had its taxing moments.
Yeah.
But here we are. We did it.
Yeah, we made it. We've had some exciting times. We did we've had tons of people on that we would have never met otherwise.
Yes.
We've done our Halloween series, our Oscars series. We're in the middle of Spielberg's summer right now.
We've been on other podcasts too. In fact,
yes.
Just yesterday, if you're listening to this episode, the day that it drops, I guested on Watch This List, podcast by Amy Hinserling, and we talked about Frances Ha and While We're Young, Noah Baumbach double feature. So,
hey, there you go.
Yeah, it's go listen to that one. It was a lot of fun, and then come back and listen to us because we've got a lot to say. This is one of our. First of all, this is a Duel of the Fates.
This is a Duel of the Fates. Yeah. I felt very strongly about this double feature for, according to my letterbox, the past 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Are you even that old? Yeah, I mean...
I really love movies, definitely.
I don't understand where you got all this money from.
That was kind of like a British baby.
Yeah, a little, well, but that's actually
like a chimney sweep.
That's not appropriate because these are very American movies. American movies.
Yes.
2 of the most American movies ever made. Maybe.
Yeah. God, that's a lot to put on them, but you're probably close. Yeah. I mean, I feel like a Western should be in there somewhere.
Sure. Well, people put a lot on these movies all the time, though. Yeah. They're title holders. Best and worst movie ever made.
They deserve all the superlatives coming their way.
Well, we'll get into why you felt so passionately about this one. But before that, as per Hard Ticket tradition, we got to introduce this week's movies. Very special matchup. Without further ado, Tristan.
Option number A, Jeff, it's the Citizen Kane of movies. It's 1941 Citizen Kane. Directed by Orson Welles, starring Orson Welles, co-written by Orson Welles.
I'm sensing a pattern.
Orson Welles. It's Orson Welles as Charles Foster Kane, not William Randolph Hearst.
No.
He's catching some strays in this movie, though.
Yeah.
That's a brain rot term. It ends with him dying. It's a panning shot of his estate called Xanadu. It's in Florida. It's not Mar-a-Lago. It's Xanadu, and we're panning over all of the little he's got like a zoo. He's got like a golf course. He's got all this crazy stuff, and we're getting closer and closer.
Totally empty.
Yes, totally empty. We're getting closer and closer towards the actual palace of Xanadu, towards a lone window that's still lit in the night. And we come in, and a man holding a snow globe dies, drops the snow globe, it shatters, and his last word, Rosebud. Rosebud.
Yeah.
And that's what jumpstarts the movie. So now we find out that this guy who died was a famous newspaper magnate, and everybody wants to know, what does Rosebud mean? They think that if they can find out what Rosebud means, it will give them some clue as to who Charles Foster Kane was.
Well, a newsroom is basically compiling a story of his life, and they're like, we need an ending, because his life didn't have much of an ending, as we find out.
Yeah, they do like a newsreel that just goes through the chronology of his life, and you get a very sort of surface level understanding of the man. It's something you would read in a history book or a Wikipedia page, but they want to know who actually was the man. And so the best lead they have is Rosebud, and so the film goes back in time and follows the life of Charles Foster Kane, trying to decipher what Rosebud means, what the significance of it was to Kane, and why it was his last word. And over the course of the film, nobody knows. But we, the audience, get to find out what Rosebud means at the end. Yeah, spoilers.
Major spoilers, but also like one of the biggest ruin spoilers. I mean, apparently both Family Guy and was it the Peanuts have spoiled
geez.
the end of Citizen Kane. In fact, there's a famous Family Guy clip where Peter tapes over it after he rents it from the video store, and he just says, "It was a sled. There, I just saved you 2 boobless hours."
Well, there you go. You spoiled it.
Yeah.
It was a sled, Lois.
Well, of course, we're going to get into it. It's also probably one of the more famous movie props of all time.
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But what could we possibly put the Citizen Kane of movies up against, Tristan?
I don't know. You'd want to... Jeff's shaking. You'd want to pair it up with something that was so much its own thing that's the only way you could compare the two, but still sort of similar.
Oh.
Option number B.
Does such a movie exist?
I think it does, Jeff. Introduce it.
Yes, it does. We are talking today about Tommy Wiseau once again on this show.
Once again.
His big one, folks. It's The Room. Oh, chills. The Room goes silent. This film premiered in LA in 2003. I think its cast and crew saw it, and it stayed open for maybe a week, but the billboard promoting its premiere stayed up in LA for a long time.
Yes, which is very expensive.
Yes, and the billboard itself became sort of a phenomenon. People started asking, what is this? What is this movie? Specifically, people like Seth Rogen and his like sort of ironic movie-going crowd. So they checked it out. And they loved it. And they started telling people, hey, there's this weird movie that plays sometimes at midnight throughout LA. You guys should check it out. So The Room starts coming back. People start seeing it. It starts gaining traction, especially in the internet age. People start to realize, what is this thing? It's so bizarre. The plot of The Room follows Johnny, who is a banker living with his future wife, Lisa, in San Francisco. And the two of them have a happy life, so you would think. But Lisa's actually not in love with Johnny anymore. So she's not in love with Johnny. She doesn't love him anymore.
But she should still marry him.
Right. But she doesn't love him anymore. Dude, are we reciting the script right now? I think we are.
I think this is the script.
Yeah, this is the script. So,
by the way, Jeff, I definitely have breast cancer.
This is a movie that, I mean, to this generation is probably more famous than Citizen Kane, I would say, or at least more people have probably seen it.
It's more infamous.
It's more infamous, yeah. Yeah, forget the little "in" there. Yeah, so basically Lisa starts having an affair with Johnny's best friend. Johnny's best friend, Mark, played by Greg Sestero. Johnny himself played by Tommy Wiseau, writer, director, producer, name all over this movie in his feature debut and legacy picture.
Yes.
Now, we did talk about Tommy Wiseau's other feature film back...
Yeah, it was back in September, Big Shark.
Big Shark. So now we've covered his 2 major movies. He did co-direct a documentary called like Being Homeless in America or something like that. But yeah, I'd never heard of it. I was kind of surprised to learn. I thought we had 100%ed our first director. We're going to have to pair that one up with something now. Our first docu matchup.
Did it come out before The Room?
It came out a year after The Room, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And the same guy scored it and everything. But the Room's a phenomenon. I mean, there's so much that was not known about The Room, and that was part of the allure to it. Tommy Wiseau himself is a very eccentric person in real life, and people got to know him as a celebrity later on. Panned when it came out because it's so bizarre. Performances, bizarre, bad. I think a lot of people would call them. The movie itself is like somebody's who's never made a movie, which Tommy Wiseau hadn't, making one for the first time without ever watching one, maybe, is one way to put it. Although it does take a lot of heavy cinematic influence from movies like A Streetcar Named Desire or Citizen Kane.
Yes.
Hence the matchup. So without further ado, this is Citizen Room. All right, Tristan, give me your log line.
Jeff, Marvel at the craft on display as a legendary actor / writer / director tells the tragic rise and fall of a rich white man betrayed by his friends and loved ones in a twisted commentary on the American dream.
That was great.
You like that?
Yeah, very concise and to the point.
Yes.
Here's mine. It's a little longer than usual.
Okay.
Now that's a true American. Writer, director, producer, and movie star. As seen from the eyes of those closest to him, nothing can stop this self-made hero. Not even a sex scandal. Or can it? In the wake of a devastating social mix-up, this American man's life is fundamentally thrown off course, resulting in a personal assault of his own bedroom, a deadly finale, and a scorned blonde widow whose love ran out long ago. There goes the American dream. Unimpressive in its initial release, this movie has nevertheless been reevaluated as essential cinema and one of the most iconic movies of all time.
What do you want me to say? That was so good. That was great. See, mine was like The Room of log lines, and yours was like the Citizen Kane of log lines.
No, I could tell you put effort into you. That's not fair. There's plenty of effort put into The Room, right?
Yeah. They shot it on 2 film cameras. That's twice the effort.
That's true, yeah. Did they ever... So they shot it on film and digitally, right?
Yeah, I think that's like makes it ahead of its time in some way.
But they never released the digital version, I don't think.
Don't they cut between the 2 versions in the film?
I guess so. Maybe.
It's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell.
Because so much of it's out of focus anyway.
Out of focus, and definitely there are scenes where like you could tell there's a camera next to the camera because stuff is going slightly out of frame. Some scenes are lit where there's more light in the background than there are in the actual characters.
Well, I think we should talk about our histories with this movie. This is sort of a throwback discussion in terms because we used to do that. We used to like introduce the movies and be like, "What's your history?" But I feel like with especially The Room,
yeah,
you had to because everybody remembers. It's like when JFK got killed. Like everybody knows where you like what it
when
was
cinema
like.
was assassinated.
Where you were when you first watched The Room.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first experience with it? How'd you hear about it?
I actually don't remember the first time I watched The Room.
Well, it's just like when JFK got assassinated. Some people just forget where they were.
Yeah, no, to me, The Room kind of feels like it's always been there. I probably discovered it when I was in high school, and there were clips that I was seeing from it of just Tommy Wiseau's awful performance, most of which is ADR'd. Because I had a movie club when I was in high school. I had the JBMC, the Jeffrey Bogus Movie Club. It was ironically named, everybody, just so we know.
We should have named this the Jeffrey Bogus Podcast. Co-starring Tristan Moore.
And Tristan Moore is there, performed by Jeffrey Bogus and Tristan Moore. No, so it was probably around high school, and then I'm sure I watched it. And then I've seen it many times throughout my life. I've seen it in a theater twice, both times with you, actually.
Okay,
I have a signed anniversary poster by Greg Sestero. I've read the book, The Disaster Artist, as well.
Yes.
By the way, do you have my copy of that?
I thought I gave it back to you.
I can't find it.
But the problem is I got really nervous when I met Greg, and he was like, "What's your name?" And I meant to say, "Well, it's for my friend Jeff," but instead I was like, "Tristan." And so he just signed it to me.
So my copy is now signed to you. That just means I get a new copy and we go to another screening that he's at.
Well, yeah, because you and I've met Greg twice now.
Yeah, you have.
And you've met Greg once. You actually had a conversation with him where you were like, "Is that the finished film?" in reference to Big Shark.
I didn't ask him specifically that because you can't just say, "Is it done?"
That's basically
that's not a finished film. But, Greg, if you're listening, hey, you're open invitation. Feel free to hop on the podcast anytime.
Yeah, I think Greg liked one of our stories one time.
Yeah, he did. We took a picture with him, posted when we saw Big Shark.
Yeah.
I think that was the last time I watched The Room before this episode.
Yes.
Because we caught a double feature. So what about you? When's the first time you saw The Room?
I think I was a sophomore in college. So it was like 2017. And I don't even know how I found it. It must have been like through a YouTube channel or something. And that was back when it was actually still on YouTube. And I remember watching it on my phone. David Lynch from Beyond the Grave was like, "What?
You were cheated."
Cheated. Yeah, because really the best way to watch The Room is in a theater with a packed crowd.
Yeah.
Watching it by yourself, I mean, you can attest. Did you watch it by yourself this time?
I watched it this morning. Yes.
by yourself.
Yeah.
It's very different, right?
Yeah, but I've also seen it so many times. That's the thing, folks. Hey, I've seen The Room so many times. Do I want to see it again, or can I watch it whenever? Like it's one of those movies that I can always read. Well, who knows? Hey, stick to the
Little foreshadowing from Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I watched it by myself the first time on my phone, and it was one of those movies where I was like, I have to share this with everybody I know. So I went around and shared it to a bunch of people. Dallas Hartman, who will be on the podcast next week,
Yes.
who we had on last year, a bunch of friends and stuff like that. I mean, I probably watched it like 5 times in the immediate aftermath that I found it. Like I was obsessed with The Room, and I would just show it to like my brother and just everybody. I was like, you have to see this weird movie. I mean, I must have discovered it after you did. So, but to me, it felt like no one knew what this was. And then eventually The Disaster Artist comes out. And when that came out, it feels like that's when it really broke into the mainstream and everybody knew about The Room. So it's not as secretive anymore, even though like when I discovered it, there's, I don't think it was that secretive anyway. But I've since seen it in a theater, I think 5 times.
Yeah.
Because I live up in Pittsburgh, so there's consistently a Room showing happening like every couple of months. You and I last saw it with a friend of the show, Josh.
Right.
Co-host of the show, Josh. And it's so fun, like to just see it in a theater with people who have the plastic spoons and everything. They're throwing it at the screen. Yeah. Everyone's doing the lines. You and I have our own traditions that we picked up from a showing that we did, and we got other people in on it at the other showing in Harrisburg that we did. So it's just been like, it's so fun. There's like a culture around the film. Citizen Kane.
Huh.
When did you first watch Citizen Kane?
I definitely watched Citizen Kane when I was in high school, because I decided that I wanted to get into movies.
Okay.
And there were movies that I felt like I needed to check off my list. And I watched a lot of Quentin Tarantino when I was in high school. I mentioned that on this podcast before.
Yeah.
And had mixed feelings about haven't revisited many of those since I watched them. And Citizen Kane was one of those big ones outside of Tarantino that I watched. And I was like, I guess it's good. I don't really get it. I'm like 17. I'm really into girls right now.
You were checking it off a list.
I was checking it off a list, and I had not revisited it until this past week. And I mean, it's one of those movies that wastes nothing. There is not a single shot that is wasted, not a line of dialogue that is wasted. It is a well-oiled machine. Is it perfect? There, a lot of people would say so. I mean, give me some time, guys. I just rewatched it, but it's damn near, if not. How about you?
Yeah, I think it was 2019. I rented it from the college library on DVD. Watched it on a tiny little screen.
Yeah.
And loved it. Like I was like, I understand why this is such a great film, why people love this film. This is my 4th time watching it.
Okay.
I think the second time I watched it, I was really into it even more because I immediately turned it on right after rewatching it, which is something that happens when I like really love a film, like Cure, Vertigo, stuff like that. Like when I really connect with a film, I want to rewatch it immediately afterward. And I had to really stop myself from rewatching Kane this week because I'd already seen it and I'm on a tight schedule. But I loved it. I've really only seen it by myself. It has nowhere near that level of like camaraderie and community that I get from The Room. And I think for a lot of people, it is like it's like that stuffy kind of check off your box kind of movie. It's a cliche to say like your favorite film, Citizen Kane, but some people, it is their favorite film. Like Donald Trump, president of the United States.
I was wondering if you were going to say it.
Someone has to say it. Donald Trump's favorite film on record is Citizen Kane.
Which is like, do you think he actually watched it, or he just looked up like best movie ever made, like best book of the Bible? I've read the whole thing.
Yeah. No, well, it's hard to say. I feel like he probably has seen it. I think he probably identifies with Charles Foster Kane in a lot of ways.
Oh, surely, yeah.
With the tragedy of his character and everything, and the feeling like he's misunderstood by the public. He's a figure that's larger than life. I mean, there are a lot of parallels here.
Oh my God. Yeah. Startling amount of parallels. Something that I really appreciated on this watch of Citizen Kane was I now have 1 year of a journalism grad school under my belt.
Yeah.
And we talked a lot about philosophical, conceptual things like truth and the principles of journalism. And we talked about Stuart Hall and how he says media does not reflect reality, but actually creates reality.
Yeah.
And that's basically the fundamental of yellow journalism, which is what Charles Foster Kane and especially William Randolph Hearst in real life made their entire careers out of. And you know, there's that saying, he who controls the media controls existence or the world, or
he who controls the spice controls the universe. I'm pretty sure.
Sangarib. But yes, it's like that's so, and that's what, you know, it's fascistic to control communication, to
It's
control
thought control,
yeah, which is
or you know, you might call it thought leadership if you're a little more neutral on it.
yeah. But Charles Foster Kane also came from a family. He had a huge trust set up in his name when he was a child, and he reaps it when he is 21 years old, and he's like already one of the richest men in the world. So he just immediately, like, you know, self-made in quotes. It's like, there's the American dream right there. Like, everybody could do it. Right?
Anybody can do it. Yeah, as long as your mother owns a boarding house and one of the tenants pays
a small loan of $1 million.
One of the tenants pays in an abandoned Colorado mine that ends up being worth literally millions. You can make it in America, and you can buy a newspaper, and you can distort the truth and marry, you know, rich and have all these sex scandals and run for office and never get elected. Mm-hmm. It's the American dream.
You're my future wife. Tommy Wiseau in real life is so... The mystery of Tommy Wiseau, where did he come from? What the hell is that accent? Nolans, the Big Easy. You can make fun of his because he's in on the joke. He's in on all of the jokes because Tommy Wiseau was so lambasted about how bad his movie was.
Yeah.
And it would do him no good to stand by it and call it some masterpiece. He has come around and he's like, you get what you get out of it, and we have fun, and that's why we keep playing it. And like, you know, if you feel something, then that's good. If we all love each other,
the world will be a better place to live.
Yes, beautiful. You don't do midnight showings of Citizen Kane. You know, we saw a midnight showing of Holy Grail, Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Audience participation was kind of lax, and I think it's just because it's such a good movie. You don't want to. I was like legitimately just watching it and enjoying it because I love that movie. Like it wouldn't make any sense. Citizen Kane, it's not a feel-good movie.
What would be an audience participation thing in Citizen Kane? Like when the bird shows up, everybody just screams.
Yeah, everybody throws birds at the bird, like fake birds, obviously.
Yeah, they've been like keeping birds in their jacket the entire time, and they just let them out. You are my rose, you are my rose, you
are my rosebud. How many similarities between these two movies, like direct comparisons, did you track when you were watching them?
Well, it's funny. The room tearing up scene is like one I always think of. Like when I first think of the similarities between these two, it's Charles Foster Kane wrecking his ex-wife's room just for like minutes, just wrecking it. It's a great scene. He's in old age makeup, so he has to be kind of like, you know, it's almost like he's in like a fat suit or something. Like he just can't move properly.
Right. He looks so awkward while he's doing it.
He's like a penguin, just kind of waddling around, just trashing everything. And he looks like he has a crazy look on his eyes. And then I think of, you know, Tommy Wiseau, Johnny, wrecking the room after he finds out, you know, that Lisa has been cheating on him with his best friend, Mark. Yeah. And he's just... think of him picking up a television, and I'm laughing because every time that scene happens and I'm in a theater with people, we're all cheering for him to throw that television out the window.
Oh yeah, those things box TVs were heavy.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god,
super heavy. He throws that thing out the window and it just blows up in the street. That's probably illegal to do that. But
good thing they were all sets, even though they look exactly like real streets.
But what leads to this tragic downfall is that both these men are kind of set up to have everything. You think that they have everything. They have a lot of money. Mm-hmm. They have power. They have influence. They have a big group of friends that adore them. I think, you know, Kane's friend is Leland. And Tommy's friend, his best friend, is Mark.
Yeah.
And by the end of this film, both of them have abandoned their friends. There's also the women at the center of these films. It's way more prominent in The Room because I feel like The Room, I'm not going to say it has a lot to say about women because what it has to say about women is pretty short and succinct.
Lisa's basically an antagonist in The Room. She's the antagonist.
She's like a succubus.
Yeah.
Like she just drains the life out of Johnny. She uses him up.
She gets him drunk. She spends his money. She screws his best friend.
Claims that, he hit her and everything, even though he did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. He did not. Whereas Charles Foster Kane, he marries, I think it's the president's niece. And so you kind of get like a sense there's a little bit of he's like trying to get some influence.
Power move.
It's a power move, yeah. Their marriage is relatively loveless. There's like a little bit of like a flirting thing. We kind of watch like a montage as it day one, oh, I love you so much and I never want to leave this place. And then day two, you're always spending so much time at your newspaper and all this stuff.
You know how long you left me waiting when you went to the paper for 10 minutes? Now apply that to a white movie podcaster's life. Come on, hon, I got an episode to record.
Yeah, I relate to Kane so much. Eventually that marriage breaks up because he actually meets like a woman in the streets who doesn't know who he is, right? Because at this point he's like a famous newspaper magnate and everything, a playboy kind of thing. She meets him, kind of falls in love with him without even knowing who he is, which I think really charms him. She's also like sort of like an every woman. Like she's just, Mary Public on the street. She's just like a random woman. And like he falls in love with her, I think, because she represents the simplicity. He likes the way that she looked at him before even knowing who he actually was. But in the end, their marriage is also relatively loveless. He tries to kind of buy it. He tries to exert his influence because that's all he knows. That's the language he speaks.
Yeah.
And so that marriage ends up coming apart too. His wives don't cheat on him, but he does cheat on one of his wives. So Citizen Kane is way more willing to portray its central figure as flawed and complicated, principally because it is told through, I think it's like 4 or 5 people that actually knew him.
It's got a little Rashomon thing going on.
Yeah.
Sure.
Everyone kind of remembers a different version of Kane. Whereas The Room, there are scenes where Tommy doesn't show up, but it really is his story. And it's really about how much of a good guy he is.
Yes, and you can read Johnny as more selfish than he lets on, because at the end he drops the veneer. He is calling Lisa a bitch. He's like,
that's true.
She's betrayed him, and he feels sort of entitled to her love because of all the things that everybody has basically been telling her. Like,
yes,
he pays for everything. He wants to buy you a house. He's got a good job. And Lisa says it the same thing every single time. I just don't love him anymore. And that's sort of her motivation for the antagonistic role she takes in the story, which, I mean, you don't have to be a villain.
No. Well, it's like Susan Alexander in Citizen Kane, like the woman that he just meets on the streets. Like he spends his whole life like giving her everything she could possibly want because she wanted to be a singer. So he like props her up as an opera singer, and she's not good at it, and she gets laughed at. And he builds an opera house just for her because he has something to prove. It's about him. It's not about her. And so, yeah, she eventually leaves him because he just tried to buy her love, basically. And it's the same thing with Lisa, except Susan is not painted as a villain.
No.
I mean, it's like a big blow to Kane that she leaves, but you're like, good for her at the same time.
Well, if you try to read into The Room, I mean, and you can read into The Room like
Sure.
you can any film, but if you ask Greg, Greg will just kind of laugh and he'll be like, actually, Tommy just wanted to show his ass. Like Greg was there on set. He knows the amount of vision that went into The Room, although nobody can see into the mind of Tommy Wiseau. Now, you can look at The Room itself, this space that most of the movie takes place in. It's sort of a haven where Tommy's character, Johnny, can be this all-American man. And in a meta sense, it kind of represents Xanadu, the place that Kane escapes to
the palace,
when the rest of the world has rejected him.
Yeah,
there are obviously theories about Tommy Wiseau's life. Everybody on the set of The Room was like, this is a money laundering scheme, or he's trying to get away from some gangsters. And Greg, who knows him best, kind of shoots them all down. He's like, I don't know what Tommy's running from. He is clearly running from something, though. And he wrote this script as a way to make himself a hero or somebody who outran it all or doesn't have to run anyway and suffers because of it. And Tommy has even said, well, take it with a grain of salt. Tommy has said that the characters he wrote in The Room some of them were like 100% real. He was like, this is from my life. I know these people.
His perspective of it. He bends the truth in much the same way Kane bends the truth with his newspaper.
He does, yeah. So again, there's a meta comparison.
Yeah.
But that sort of like martyrdom that you write into your own character, it's like, it's borderline problematic, and the room would be more problematic if you could take it seriously, and you just can't.
That's the thing. It is like it's become ironic to me as I've gotten older that a film that is so outwardly misogynistic and that has such a, I don't know, like very negative view of people would end up becoming like so loved by people. Now, ironically, right? Like in an ironic sense mostly, although I don't know, like at this point I almost love The Room just as it is because like even if it's not intended to be funny or whatever, it's still funny. And I'm like that's how I love it. It is ironic to me though that this is a movie that people have glommed onto because it is problematic.
It does kind of seem like it might have taught Tommy Wiseau a lesson in real life, because he is now that guy who says, if we all loved each other, the world would be a better place. And you watch this movie and you're like, what the hell are you talking about? All these characters are like reprehensible and clearly villain coded. And part of the reason why it has the reputation that it does as the Citizen Kane of bad movies is because of the way it's put together. And this is before, it's early internet, but there was this boom of indie filmmaking that happened into the 2000s, early 2010s, where the equipment and everything became accessible for people to make movies. The Room was right before that.
Yeah.
So everything in The Room was made in as traditional of a Hollywood movie style set as possible. The movie itself is dissonant. It is like the uncanny valley. Well, actually, it's not like the uncanny valley. I think that's the thing. It balances the bad and the good, the competently shot with the objectively wrong. Like it is assembled. And we watched Big Shark, and Big Shark was like not even a finished movie.
Right.
A response to The Room, you could read it as, but there's like, in behind the scenes accounts say that like Sandy Schklair, who is like the script supervisor, the de facto first AD, was like actually blocking scenes and making sure that it just made cinematic sense and was competent. So you did have people stepping in, making sure that scenes and sequences flowed together in The Room. And if they didn't, you could just cut to a shot of San Francisco and then the rest could follow after that. But a lot of bad movies, they don't have that competence that The Room has.
It kind of reminds me, I know Bob Odenkirk is like, I think he has already put together his Room version.
Yes.
But it hasn't like released publicly yet.
I've seen a scene from it, but no, it hasn't had its like debut, I guess.
So he's taking, that sort of bedrock, the competency of shooting it and having a set and having actors on set and everything, and then just replacing the one person in the middle of it, like at least his performance, which is Tommy Wiseau, with Bob Odenkirk, who is, he's a competent dramatic actor. Anybody who's seen Better Call Saul knows that. And they still play the scene. I think it's the I Did Not Hit Her scene.
It is.
Which and that scene, like, it is more competent, I guess, because it has like a performance at the center of it that makes more sense. He's delivering the lines a little bit more realistically, but you can't ignore the script. You can't ignore the story that's being told there.
He changes the material in terms of the performance, but not the script itself. And bad writing is bad writing.
That's the bedrock. That's the bedrock.
Versus Citizen Kane, where every single shot is so rhythmic and meticulous. Every sequence, like just the opening of Citizen Kane, you're slowly pushing further and further towards Kane's Xanadu castle.
Yeah.
But every time you get a little closer, there's something massive that's still separating you from where it is. So you get the sense of the scale.
Yes.
Along with the music and the ominous clouds. It's translating something very clear from the beginning.
I mean, it literally revolutionized cinema. I mean, you can talk about like the deep focus shots, which is a wonderful contrast to the out of focus shots in The Room.
Somewhere between what's in focus.
You can talk about like, shooting from, I think they like actually built like trenches in the set so you could get really low angle shots of Kane like in the office and everything.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which like communicates, like normally that would communicate like it's a superior, like you're looking at a big figure, but you contrast him with this big empty office set with like a party that has already happened and he's just standing there. It makes him feel so small.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting model work and stuff like that. I mean, The thing that really interests me is the way Wells disappears into Charles Foster Kane. I've seen some other Wells performances, and they're all pretty, in my opinion, they're pretty varied. He's a master actor. Tommy Wiseau,
He takes over.
He takes over. Like when the film says it's directed by Tommy Wiseau or written by Tommy Wiseau, it's like we know. Like you watch the film and like you don't even. There's no disappearing act with that. It doesn't feel like there's real acting going on, which makes sense because apparently Tommy Wiseau is a horrible actor on set. I say apparently because I don't actually know what the guy's like in real life. As far as I know, he delivers every line in real life the way he delivers a lot of the lines in the room.
In post, too, because his dialogue was mostly like dubbed over. And I have a hard time believing it could be any worse than what he dubbed it over as. But then you read the disaster artist and you go through takes and takes and takes of Tommy just forgetting his lines and getting frustrated and sort of just running a shit show and everybody understanding what it is. The discourse surrounding these movies is The Room came out and it flopped and nobody thought about it twice. Nobody involved except for Tommy, of course. And I think Greg just wanted to get away from it.
Still wants to get away with it.
Well,
I think like
it depends.
When you meet him in person, he almost seems like he's like, I mean, I got my bag, but at what cost?
Yeah,
like,
if you ask if he regrets it, he'll say like, do you regret your career like after The Room? And he's like, I didn't have a career before The Room. So
true, yeah.
He will say something like that. It kind of dodges the question a little bit.
But when we saw him in Harrisburg last September, like the most excited he got that whole time people were talking to him was when someone asked about his coming project, which is like I think like an alien invasion or
something like that.
Alien abduction project of some sort. He lit up. Like it was like, oh, like something I could talk about.
I'm doing something else
that I care about.
Yeah, and he, funny enough, I guess he was feeling good enough after that. He actually sat down and did some live commentary for like 15 minutes until his sex scene, and then he went to the bar. I'm like, I would have done that. Yeah, of course. 3 sex scenes in the first 30 minutes of The Room. After that, you get implicit oral sex and then another sex scene at like the 105-minute mark. I clocked him because like, if this is a movie that you show a lot of people, like, this is so bad, you got to see this. You got to prep for it.
That's
like,
true.
I don't know if I could show this to my dad, but he loved The Disaster Artist.
That's true. Yeah, I probably wouldn't show it to like a parent, but I could show it to like my brother, and we could laugh at it because it's funny. Like, it's not sexy. It's
no.
not.
The sex scenes are part of like they're blocked. Like he's aiming too high. Like there's the music.
See his like weird like ass and stuff.
Yeah,
like
you are my rose.
It's
legendary. Yeah,
it's legendary. The drama is not dramatic. The sex is not sexy. It's all just funny. The tragedy is not even that tragic because you don't really feel sorry for Tommy as a character because it's not that he deserves it. Like he didn't deserve to be betrayed and to die and everything. But he was very presumptuous about. He wanted love on his own terms, and when someone couldn't give that to him, he destroyed a whole room, like Citizen Kane. But we understand in Citizen Kane that Charles Foster Kane is a complicated person. He does some good, he does a lot bad. There's allowed to be that nuance in a great film.
Yes, yeah, a character study of a fascist, which is
you think you call him a fascist?
Well, yeah.
No, that's interesting. I want to hear why you say that because the opening of the film, there's the newsreel where it's like people call him a fascist, some people call him a communist, and he's like, I'm always will be an American. I am an American.
Right. Well, look at the Donald Trump parallels. People call Donald Trump a fascist because he wants to control everything, basically. He wants singular power through him to be the decider of what people think. He wants to control people's thoughts. It's thought control. That's what Charles Foster Kane, anytime, like what he lets the public know is always strategic. Fraud at the polls. Am I talking about real life or am I talking about Citizen Kane right now? Like, what, yeah, I think he's a fascist. You disagree?
Well, I don't, it's to me, and it's the same I kind of feel about Donald Trump, like ascribing any sort of ideology onto somebody who, to my mind, is so deeply flawed as a person that basically anything they don't believe in anything except for themselves. Like, that's sort of my feeling of it. I am not, I think a lot of what Kane does is fascistic, and I think that's very purposeful. I mean, the film comes out in 1941. It's right before America enters the war. It's 2 years into World War II. So it's on everybody's mind. Fascism, communism, what have you. He also, positions himself as a champion of the people, which, a lot of fascists did too. But, people could have read that as, he's a socialist of some sort too. We don't really know what his political platform is. When it comes time for him to do his stump speech, he's basically just saying, I'm going to throw my incumbent into jail.
Yeah.
And that's it. And everybody cheers because nobody likes the incumbent.
Right.
So everybody is just, it's reactionary politics.
Yeah,
it's grievance politics.
He says, I have principles, but I'm not going to tell you.
One day I'll actually make a campaign promise, but right now I'm just going to say I'm going to throw, Gettys in jail.
No, you're right. Because what I would say is like what he wants is to control what people think. But the movie already tells you, like, he just wants people to like him.
He just wants people to like him.
He wants to be loved, and he learns that you can't buy love in the same way that Johnny can't buy Lisa's love. She just doesn't love him anymore.
She's in love with his best friend, Mark.
That's his best friend.
Also, she's pregnant, but she's not actually pregnant. She just told people to make it interesting.
You're glad to be back, Mr. Kane?
I'm always glad to be back, young man. I'm an American. Always been an American.
Now, he bought you a car, he bought you a ring, clothes, whatever you wanted. Now you want to dump him. That's not right. You should marry Johnny. He would be good for you.
I guess you're right about that.
Let's talk about the American dream, dude.
Jeff, when you think of the American dream, what do you think of?
Let's see. Let's talk semiotics real quick. What do you think? What do you think when you talk about a red rose?
I think of...
You think of love?
Yeah.
I might have fed you that one, but I think you would have got there on your own.
I think I would have thought about that on my own eventually.
What about a suit? Somebody wearing a suit all the time?
Like a tuxedo?
Yeah, or like a
business suit?
jacket and everything.
Yeah, they're going to business school. They're going to do some business.
They got a good job, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. What about somebody throwing a football around?
They're a football player.
Or they're not, and they're on the street. They got a football.
Oh, and they're wearing a tux.
They're with their boys, right?
Oh, okay.
What is the American dream? Well, I think a lot of these ideas are being presented as Tommy Wiseau's idea of what the American dream is. He supports you, he provides for you, and his position is very secure. When I graduate and get a good job, I want to marry her and have kids with her.
Right.
That's the idea.
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, that's the
literally
American dream.
the idea right there.
Yeah.
It's a very singular idea, but it seems pretty concrete. It's not complicated. It's just that's what success is. But is he saying it's more complicated than that because it doesn't work out for Johnny? Is he saying secrets are a bad thing because they prevent us from knowing each other and therefore loving one another to the maximum ability that we can?
I think he's saying that, women are duplicitous and they'll get in the way of your happiness.
That is, but then you do have characters like Michelle who are urging Lisa to tell Johnny the truth.
Yes, but at first when she finds out, she's all giggly. She's like, "Oh, you and Mark. Oh."
You could say the same about Peter, who becomes the character Steven.
I don't know who he is, and every time he shows up in the movie, I'm like, "Who are you?"
If you look at them as a continuity of character, though, because Peter kind of confronts Mark, and he's like, "Are you having an affair with Lisa?" So he knows as well. So you've got characters on both sides. I think what the film's really saying is men and women use and abuse each other all the time. There's nothing wrong with it.
I don't think listen. To me, it's like Mark is a hapless victim in the room. That's the way it presents it. Until the end, when he gets kind of vindictive about it. But he gets put in his place by Johnny, who throws him onto the ground, even though I would never believe that Tommy Wiseau could throw Greg Sestero on the ground. Like, you have Lisa, again, she's the succubus. She's the seductress. She seduces Greg. I say Greg, Mark. So all the characters in the room are basically known to me as their actor names too. So I just go back and forth.
Of course.
But that's because also the film isn't a film. It's like reality in a way. Like, it's weird. I don't know. I don't think it's as gray. Because Peter confronts Mark and he's like, "Mark, you have to tell Johnny. And what are you doing? And you need to stop smoking
reefer.
You need to stop. It'll mess with your head, man."
I don't touch that crap.
Yeah. Even though he's up there just,
just thinking.
I'm just sitting up here thinking, I don't know. I think I think Tommy needed there to be a guy who is going to fall with him, which is what Greg does. and doesn't realize that he's fallen too until Johnny is dead at the end. And then it's him and it's Denny who are really sad about Johnny killing himself.
Yeah.
And they tell Lisa to off, you're the cause of all this. And that's the catharsis of the film. That's the release that you get, is everybody pointing their fingers at Lisa, who has a mother who manipulates people, who has a friend who's giggling about her affair. And they're all women. I think that's the commonality in the room. I think it hates women.
Controversial.
This room hates women.
Yeah, the room is definitely, and I talked about it in Big Shark too. The role that women play it kind of matches the room as well. So there's at least some consistency across Wiseau's work, even though those two films are very different. Now you look at The American Dream and Citizen Kane, and it is a indictment of the American dream, because Kane gets everything he ever wanted, but he lives an empty life, as emphasized externally by Xanadu, the empty halls, the piles and piles of stuff at the end. It's just stuff. And the crap is with all the statues that he bought in Europe. I initially made a note when I watched this. I was like, we talk about misinterpretation on this podcast a lot. Fight Club, I want to be just like Tyler Durden. Saving Private Ryan, that movie's badass. I wrote a question. I was like, do you think people see all the stuff at the end of Citizen Kane and they're like, that's what I want in my life. Just look at all my stuff in one place like this. And we just began this conversation talking about Donald Trump. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no shit, people think that. People still think that. People probably think that more today. I don't know. Maybe people have always just thought that they're materialistic. And America, your position of power is determined by how much you accumulate, physically.
There's probably, I say this is something you say right before you fall from grace. There's probably a sweet spot, right? Where you have enough money that you're comfortable, but not enough money that it corrupts you and makes you entitled to everything. But the trick, obviously, is finding out what that actual sweet spot is. And Charles Foster Kane is just a kid living in the middle of rural Colorado when his mother, strikes rich and sends him off to be fathered by her banker. Is that normal? Is that a normal thing people used to do?
Well, they set up a trust.
Yeah.
Because they discover that she owns property that coal has been discovered on.
That's
basically.
gold.
Oh, gold. Okay,
Yeah.
even better. Yeah, but I think there are also some coal mines in his name later on.
Yeah. He buys up a bunch of shit.
So they're like, he's going to have a lot of money. We want him to be responsible. So they send him away from the boarding school that they run, I guess, that's completely empty. And he just basically is this guy's apprentice, and he hates him. He's like, I want to be everything you hate. It turns out being pretty similar to the guy at the end of the day, but no, I don't know if it was normal or not, but it definitely that is so disappointing, because that is the last time we see Kane. It's when he is basically separated from his sled and he's swept up into the American machine. That might have been the last time he was happy. Except he's happy throughout his life. He's happy when he's dancing with all they're not the Rockettes, but there's a bunch of people that come in when he takes over the Inquirer, and they throw a big party. And there's a shot of him dancing while two characters are talking, and he's reflected in the window like he was as a child at the beginning of the movie. And you get the sense that there he is, genuinely happy again.
There are moments of happiness, and you can attribute those moments to his wealth, I think, being financially secure, but
being respected as well.
Being respected, yeah. But and he buys that respect. I mean, he buys the Inquirer and runs it how he sees fit.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, you can get out. And he ends up buying an entire newspaper staff, to be the best, to prove something. That's the whole thing. It's all just about Kane having something to prove. It's something that he has to fill in his soul that he has lost since he was a child. And you're right. I think the last moment of true happiness for Kane is when he's out that window sledding in the snow while, his mom and dad and banker father are conspiring his future. They're deciding for him what he's going to do. That's his fortune. That's also his tragic downfall. He wants freedom, I think. I think he needed some freedom. He didn't have that. He didn't have freedom until it was too late, until he was old enough that those scars that he incurred they would never heal over. And then he was never free from his own fortune, And I don't know. You look at Tommy Wiseau's character in The Room, The only thing that I get a sense that, because he lives a comfortable life.
Well,
He's a banker, you know, he's able to afford a nice house in San Francisco. He has good friends and everything, but he's not like so rich that he's like, oh my God, I'm losing track of what's really important.
Well, he's paying for Denny's college tuition. Like, he's a contradiction. That's the thing about Wiseau's writing is that the characters don't need to make sense. They just need to be in a role for the plot to happen.
He's found that sweet spot. He has found that sweet spot.
Well, but it's not still like the people around him. He can't buy. He bought Denny's love, I guess. But like,
thanks for buying my love, Johnny. He bought Denny's love, but he didn't buy Lisa's love, but that's because that's Lisa's fault. And that's how The Room portrays it. That is her fault. Like, even if she doesn't love Johnny, she should still marry him and be, you know, loyal to him because he provides for you. He has a good job and he's paying for Denny to go to school. You know?
Get the sense that Claudette is like sort of the mouthpiece for what you should actually take away from this movie.
I feel like Claudette, I mean, she's still she's a very cynical character.
Yes.
And
she even says that marriage shouldn't be about love, essentially.
she's sort of like, she's like lawful evil in The Room where Lisa's just chaotic evil. Hey, everybody, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
You know, like, we're expecting. She's not a character that you should look at and admire unless you're like the most diehard pragmatist.
She's Lady Macbeth.
To me, it's like Tommy Wiseau like pointing at an older woman who has made it in life, but it's all come back to bite her in the ass anyway because she's not married, she has breast cancer, she's dying.
Yeah.
So she thought that she could get away with manipulating people her whole life. And it's like even if Lisa survived all this, she still is damned to hell because she's a bad woman. And that's kind of what it feels like to me. And Michelle, I don't even know what to make of it. She's going out with Mike. I don't know what her story ends up. I don't know where that ends. It's the thing with The Room. Whenever a character is not in the room, they cease to exist. They don't feel like they're real. And that's why this movie has characters who will just announce themselves. They'll come into the room. Oh, hey, what's up? And they'll deliver like 2 lines of dialogue. And they'll be like, I gotta go. I gotta get the hell out of here.
I've served my purpose. Exit stage left.
Exactly. And that's all Lisa was meant to do for Johnny in Wiseau's eyes. She's meant to fulfill a purpose. He wanted love on his own terms and he didn't get it.
It's also why there's almost like a even more surreal element to the scenes that take place outside of the room. Like the San Francisco shots. The first scene they shot for this movie was the scene in the alleyway where Mike tells his Me Underwear story. And I'm pretty sure that's the first scene because I remember reading in The Disaster Artist, Greg was like, there's a different feel to that scene. Yes. And I remember reading it and I was like, I guess so. But like, what kind of, like the whole movie is just, it's dancing at a different waltz. What's the phrase?
It's dancing at its own rhythm, man. No, well, but
it's true. There is a different pace to
there
this.
There is, yeah. But also it was shot on an alley set, and then later on they're in an alley that's a real alley. You see the street and everything, and it's like, what happened to the alley set? Why did they get rid of it?
And they in Big Shark they just included duplicate scenes. Like he's still doing it. Tommy Wiseau, like I said, there is consistency across his work. And we were worried the Big Shark was going to be, I'm in on the joke now, but
yes,
no, it really is like Wiseau has a way of making movies, and Schler isn't there to fix it for him anymore.
It feels like he's in on it, but only as a way. Big Shark is just a reaction to The Room. You know, like Birdemic 2 came out, and it was like the guy was like, I'm just going to do Birdemic, but make it funny, like on purpose.
Yeah.
Big Shark is like the anti-The Room in so many ways. Which I don't know would mean probably you'd want to pair that against Jaws, which is like the Citizen Kane of shark movies.
You could, yeah. It's also like you could look at it as a reaction. You could also look at it as just people not being there to polish the things in the room. That
do you think The Room would look like Big Shark if no one had stepped in?
It could have. Their blocking could not make sense. They would have reshot scenes like.
But what's so interesting about The Room is that it's a funny, bad, dramatic film.
Yeah.
And so many of them are like sci-fi, horror, whatever. They're genre films. This is just a drama. You know, it's like a typical kind of story. It's a tragedy.
Well, there have always been bad movies, but their bad movies even used to be more competent in terms of the fact that they were made with productions and sets and by companies.
Because there was a barrier of entry.
Big Shark is now it exists in this era where you can make anybody. I could make a movie. I could just shoot a movie if I wanted to right now. Call it a movie if you want. It's going to be something. Big Shark now exists in this new era of incompetency in filmmaking where it's like nobody's cleaning up after you anymore.
So is there like a Citizen Kane equivalent, like a guerrilla style filmmaking? You know, you rented a camera from your library, you got some non-actors, and you put together something that is as genuinely moving and even innovative as Citizen Kane?
That's tough to say because Citizen Kane was so meticulously put together, just obsessively created. And Orson Welles was known to be a perfectionist. Even Orson Welles doesn't consider Citizen Kane to be his best movie. I think he preferred The Trial over Citizen Kane.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, who's to say that The Trial itself isn't just as intentional? Like, why do people call Citizen Kane the perfect movie? Is it because it was all intentional? Roger Ebert went through and dissected it scene by scene and found like do you just have to be able to identify why every choice was made?
Yeah. It can't just be because it's a puzzle box, right? Because that just makes it boring. There has to be like an emotional resonance. I think the emotional resonance comes from the character of Kane being this figure that is central to the American mythology and is fascinating to people. You had Hearst back in the day, who Kane is based off of, and you have Trump nowadays. We see that this archetype hasn't gone anywhere. It still exists in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Another thing, though, you know, Citizen Kane sat at the top of I think it's the BFI list.
Yes.
Was it like 50 years or something?
And I think it's still at the top of AFI.
No, BFI. Like,
yeah, but I think it's at the top of AFI as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm
So
pretty
it's still
sure.
considered like the #1 American film by the American Film Institute. But for a long time, I think it was the Sight and Sound poll, where for like 50 years, because they do a poll every 10 years, they poll critics and they poll directors, filmmakers, and they decide, you know, you vote what the best film of all time is, and there's a ranked list. I think it was Jean Dillman that got one in 2022. 10 years before that, it was Vertigo in 2012.
Yeah.
But then for the 50 years before that, it was consistently Citizen Kane ranking at the top. I think Citizen Kane is one of those movies that was probably rerun a lot on television too. So a lot of people saw it. It had this, you know, exalted reputation for so long. That's why it's almost like a cliche to be like, I love Citizen Kane. Like, I think it's a really great film.
Yeah, there is a whole mythology behind it, like the contentious script and the untrue accusation that it was a box office bomb. Like, it actually made a reasonable amount of money. It just was below expectations. Like, it was nominated for Academy Awards as well, and it won for screenplay. So, like, there's a lot about it that has been, you know, is in the lexicon of film rumor and legend, really.
Like The Room, yeah.
Yes, like The Room, exactly. Part of that comes from Wiseau's mystery.
You know, Wells, you know, he was in the public eye for so long, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have so many stories of Wells. We have the War of the Worlds, the famous, you know, Mercury broadcast. You got Citizen Kane. You have later stage Orson Welles voicing, who does he voice? Cybertron, I think, in Transformers, the movie. Like, you have him being drunk doing wine commercials. Like Orson Welles, he ran the gamut. There's
a joke in The Critic too, where he comes up several times, advertising frozen peas or something. At the end of the commercial, he just starts eating them, and he's like, "Oh yes, they're even better when you're dead." It's the ghost of Orson. Like, amazing stuff. It's so funny.
It's great. Yeah. Orson Welles, like, I mean, is there like mystery behind him? He seems like a fascinating figure. If you ever listen to like interviews of him, like he was, you know, loquacious and articulate, and he was always had something interesting to say. He hated Woody Allen, I think, very famously.
Oh, really?
I think there's like a quote where he's like, I hate Woody Allen. Like, I hate the type of man he is.
Ahead of his time.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it's great. I think it's one of those lines that everybody should look up. So there's not as much of a mystery around him. He is sort of like a Kane figure, like a Charles Foster Kane. He has this rise and fall. He has a checkered kind of history. Everybody knows who he is. Everybody thinks they know who he is. There's like a surface level thing. But
there's an Elvis thing going on.
There's an Elvis thing. Yeah, he's larger than life.
He's the Elvis of movies.
And Tommy Wiseau, like, you know, he appears out of nowhere to do The Room. I mean, like literally like out of nowhere, springs from existence. No one knows where this guy's from. Is he from somewhere in Europe? Is he from New Orleans? Like nobody knows.
I think he did have to hand over his birth certificate for a case, like
really?
like a lawsuit.
Did they finally come out like where he's from?
It's somewhere in Europe. I forget exactly
Or
where.
like Eastern Europe. Or
But that's the
something?
thing about these answers. Like once you get them, it's like
It does, yeah.
totally deflates.
I don't
them.
want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. Like Tommy Wiseau, he is a vampire. He is just like this guy.
That's
who,
my favorite theory.
Yeah, he's just he who knows? He could have been around 100 years ago. He was running around. That's why he has a weird way of talking and a weird way of seeing women. Like, you know, like he's so backwards. Like I think it's like interesting to just let him exist and float in the ether. Orson Welles grounds you, you know, 100%. And a work like Citizen Kane, I mean, that I think that's his legacy right there. Like he's made a lot of great films. The Trial is a great film. Magnificent Ambersons is a great film, although famously was chopped up by the studio after he was given like unprecedented freedom for Citizen Kane.
F is for fake too.
F is for Fake, yeah, the documentary. I mean, like his works are timeless. They'll always stand as something that, you know, when you want to know who Orson Welles is, you're gonna watch Citizen Kane. Tommy Wiseau, I mean, he's tied inextricably to The Room. I mean, that is his legacy. It was an accident. Citizen Kane was a machine, a precise machine. But it does transcend that, because I know you keep going back to how precise everything was and how intentional everything was. And you're a filmmaker. You see things in that way. You kind of see how the sausage is made. And I appreciate the formal innovation of Citizen Kane as well. I think it's one of my big takeaways from the film, and it is part of the reason I wanted to compare it to The Room, because there's so many weird formal choices in The Room.
Yeah.
But also, it does kind of, I don't know, I think it comes together into something that's greater than the sum of its parts.
No, I think you're right. And at a base level, I would say Citizen Kane is exactly what it set out to be. And I think even Wells said, like, even though it wasn't his favorite movie that he made, it was the one that his vision came together the most accurately.
Okay.
The Room is like the exact opposite of what it set out to be. It was a drama. It's actually one of the greatest comedies ever made.
Yeah.
It is so funny for all the wrong reasons. And now it has transcended that as well. So, I 100% agree with what you're saying.
And one day, both these films will be divorced of the reality from which they were made. Like, we don't talk about William Randolph Hearst anymore. There will be a time when Tommy Wiseau is passed into obscurity. But people, I think, will still be able to revisit these films and find some contemporaneous, you know, allegory. Like we can look at Trump with Citizen Kane.
Fraud at the polls. Fraud at the polls. And then you could look, there will always be these misogynistic, like, Johnny's like the nice guy.
He's like an incel kind of.
Yeah, I did everything right. My Lisa's great when I can get. Yeah. Just had sex like 3 times. We watched it happen.
When I can get, like she's holding out on him for sure. No, like that will always be just like weird and comedic. AI can't make The Room.
No.
Only a human being could have made The Room.
Real human being.
And I think it's the same with Citizen Kane. Like, I think that there is genuine inventiveness in Citizen Kane. Like, it literally changed the craft. Mm-hmm. And AI can't invent anything. It can only remix. And Wells was an innovator. And, I think these films are deeply human in their flaws and their perfections. And I think that's why they tower together in this matchup, and why I've felt so strongly that we needed to talk about them in conversation.
You're right.
From now on, everything will be exactly the way you want it to be. Not the way I think you want it, but your way. Mustn't go. You can't do this to me.
Why? Why is this happening to me? Why?
Speaking of 2026 and AI and all the contemporary stuff, I wanted to bring back our Q&A that we did for season 1, because we always had a Q&A where we prepared questions. So I have a couple for you.
Okay, which I have not pre-screened.
No, you have not. And I want you to describe Citizen Kane updated for 2026. And I have my own sort of synopsis written out. And that includes a recast of the 6, as I identified them, most prominent characters in the movie.
Media is still such a big thing
Yeah.
in 2026, but it has become fractured in a lot of ways. So it's like the idea of a media magnet. I mean, Ted Turner just died.
Yeah.
He was a media magnet. I don't know if he was on the same level as William Randolph Hearst, but that's only because things have fractured more. So it's like, how do you control all that power? How do you center that in one person now?
Yeah.
And I don't know. If you told the story of a Charles Foster Kane today, it's the story of Steve Jobs or Elon Musk or Donald Trump even. It's a man maybe who does become president, and the tragedy of it all is that he's a deeply unpopular president that everybody hates.
We're just living it right now.
We're kind of living in Citizen Kane today. That's what it kind of goes back to like what I'm saying about the timelessness of Kane.
Mhm.
At least as long as it exists in a system that produced it, you can call that whatever you want, democracy, capitalism, America. As long as it exists in that system, it is what it is, Little details will change. Like, there will be a period of time where Charles Foster Kane had a broccoli haircut.
No.
Happy 1 year anniversary, dude. I gotta bring up broccoli
I will
here.
make a supercut of all the times you mentioned broccoli haircuts at some point. I wrote like Charles Foster Kane actually bought a communication platform with metrics that favored, like he made algorithms to favor his own opinions. And that's
Okay.
like something Elon Musk has done in real life.
Sure,
Like,
yeah.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All the actors are digitally de-aged.
Oh.
So because it spans their whole life. So instead of doing makeup and actually practicing filmic artistry, just de-age him like Robert De Niro in The Irishman
Oh
when
my
he's 20
God.
years old walking around like my grandpa used to.
So you don't think Hollywood would make a film like Citizen Kane now?
I think they could, but like it would be so cynical. I
But
mean,
would they?
maybe. I just like, if this is my most cynical version of it, like this will not exist, but is it so far out of the realm of possibility to believe that it could? I don't personally think so.
No.
We're already like AI de-aging online. Like, I don't think it's been used in like a major motion. Well, no, it has, hasn't it? Like, did they use AI to de-age Luke Skywalker and like The Mandalorian and stuff like that?
They put like a Snapchat filter on his
Right.
face. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just awful stuff. But
Yeah.
I said Rosebud ends up being Kane Coin, which was the first.
You just wanted to get that
I
Bitcoin thing
did.
in there.
No, but I recasted it. I recasted it with older actors.
Okay.
So that you can imagine the de-aging that would be on them for a lot of the movie.
Do you have Daniel Day-Lewis as Kane?
No, I don't.
Okay.
That would be good though.
Right?
That would be really
Like
good.
a really talented guy, but then you do like the DH thing.
You need
Although
s-
I don't think Daniel Day-Lewis would ever let you DH him like that.
No, I had Hugh Grant as
Hugh
Kane.
Grant.
You need somebody with that suave kind of, he can do handsome, but he can also do, like, he can get kind of scary.
Yeah.
So I had him. And, young Kane, just think back to Love Actually era, Hugh Grant. And
And then when he gets like old and angry, it's like that Mormon movie. What was that movie called?
Heretic.
Heretic,
Yeah. So he's Kane, right? As Susan, his second wife,
Okay.
Cameron
I
Diaz.
thought you were going to say Sydney Sweeney.
No.
'Cause she's blonde.
I'm actually mostly matching ages this time
Okay.
around. No,
All right.
it's got to be Cameron Diaz. I thought about saying Cheryl Lee, but I think Cameron Diaz has more of that, like, she could have been more of like that stage bombshell kind of thing.
I like Cheryl Lee better. I think
You like
she
Cheryl Lee?
does more like, Girl Next Door kind of like just your every woman. But she can also play like beaten and laughed at by the world.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I like Cheryl Lee in that role. That's a good one.
All right, we'll do Cheryl Lee.
Okay.
For Jedediah, this one might be the most out there.
Jed Leland.
No, I'm going to put Tim Meadows in there.
Tim Meadows?
Yeah.
Who's that?
He's the guy, and I think you should leave when he's like, I should have done like Barney's hair.
Oh my God.
He's Tyler's manager in Popstar. I think his
Okay.
name's Tyler.
That's
Yeah.
Tim Meadows.
That's Tim Meadows. Yeah, he's an
Okay.
SNL guy. So I'm thinking of like the cigar scene where he's like, could you get me a cigar? Like they're just, he could play that scene so well.
Yes.
Mr. Bernstein, Steve Carell.
Okay, yeah. I can see that. But
Sort
he's-
of a funny on the side, but can oscillate to serious when he needs to.
Is it The Big Short where it's Steve Carell doing the stupid accent that he does in that movie?
Man, I haven't seen that in forever. Probably though.
Yeah,
Probably.
you have him do that accent. He's like, "Oh, what's up, guys? I'm Steve." He sounds like Prison Mike.
Or yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Okay. Emily, Kane's first wife, Robin Wright.
Oh, okay.
You can be stone faced.
She's already been DH'd for Here.
Exactly.
I love Here.
Exactly. It's tried and tested.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Where's Tom Hanks in all this?
I thought about him, but no. My last one, The Reporter, which can you imagine today being cast in a role where the audience doesn't see your face?
Oh, yeah.
Actors, they would not go for it.
Yes.
They'd be like I brought it up in our discussion last week about the Thin Red Line.
Yeah.
Actors were pissed that their roles were cut, and I'm like, if it doesn't serve the story, like shut the hell up.
Oh, yeah. No, people were lining up to star in the new Terrence Malick film, and your role got cut. And it's like, isn't that
you got
kinda,
to work with Terrence Malick.
You get to work with Terrence Malick. Also, it's like a war film where people just die randomly. It's kind of the point. So, like, stop whining about it.
Right.
Adrian Brody.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke.
Cast Adrian Brody as the journalist, and you
I
never
cast
see his
Paul
face.
Dano.
Oh, okay.
But Adrian Brody, yeah, he like brings his parents. He's like the whole thing hinges on this journalist. Like he's the main guy.
They put a fake camera in front of Adrian Brody, so he thinks he's going to be in the film, but it's always just his back.
Yeah, he's got like a selfie stick the whole time that they let him hold, or a ring light. I don't know. It's 2026.
There's a
after
selfie
all.
stick walking around.
I'm a journalist, damn it. So that's my cast of Citizen Kane.
I love it. Do you have a recast for The Room at all?
I did, but I took a shortcut. I
Okay.
did all Twin Peaks actors.
Oh, okay.
Because here's where Cheryl Lee comes in. She plays Lisa.
Okay.
Johnny is James Marshall, James Hurley.
Wait, can I say Laura Flynn Boyle? She should be Lisa.
Oh, you think?
Because she's so frigid in Twin Peaks.
I did Moira Kelly as Michelle instead.
Moira, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. But then you get Dana Ashbrook as Mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's playing Tommy?
That's James Marshall. That's James Hurley.
Oh, okay. James Hurley is Tommy. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Johnny's my best friend.
You know, like when he yells and he's like, "No!" He like has like a weirdly high
tearing
pitched
me
yell.
apart. Yeah. It's
Tearing me apart, Lisa. Yeah, I can imagine James Marshall.
Claudette is still Grace Zabreski, Sarah Palmer.
Okay, that's yeah.
Peter, I'll let Kyle MacLachlan play Peter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, he just disappears halfway through the film.
Right. Yeah. He goes to the Black Lodge. Like
I think
halfway through.
you have Kyle MacLachlan play Chris R, the drug dealer who accosts Denny.
I did Frank Silva for Chris R.
Well, that makes sense because he's the villain, but I also just think it'd be so funny if like the main character of Twin Peaks is just in one scene and he's just yelling at a little child the entire time.
When he disappears, though, Steven, who I think is the guy who replaces Peter and is that like legacy character.
Oh God, he's a terrible actor.
Yeah, I said put Billy Zane in that role. So
Okay.
Cooper disappears and you get Billy Zane.
That kind of does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's
Well,
playing Denny?
Denny. Oh, I had to age up Denny because he's going to be Jack Nance. So instead of like a little kid that you take care of, it's like an old man who's
Thanks for paying for my tuition there,
like, I'm going back to
Johnny."
school, fellas.
Ellis. I was thinking you have Michael Anderson, the arm, like the guy in the Black Lodge. Can you imagine him
I
playing
don't know
Denny?
why I didn't think of that. No, it's like, got to put Jack Nance in this. And that's my recast.
That's awesome. I love that. I love the Twin Peaks themed The Room. That's a crossover that needs to happen. That should have happened.
Well, I think about how...
I guess with AI, dude, it's going to happen.
Well, it's so bizarre. All the performances in The Room are so bizarre.
True.
And I think people just didn't know how to use the actors in The Room except for David Lynch because he gets amazing performances out of them. And so few of them had careers after that. So I'm just like, yeah, put him in this and just let him eat. Let him cook. That's the phrase. Let him cook.
Hmm. I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about the past year before we wrapped up.
Okay.
Are you nostalgic at all?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I am.
Really?
Technically, we've been doing the podcast for more than a year because
That's true.
We had our pseudo episode that we didn't release, and then we recorded one or two before we actually launched.
I was thinking, Jeff, I'm springing this on you while we're recording. Maybe you could insert a clip from that first proto episode here because we've never released any audio from it.
No, we haven't.
It's The Thing versus Alien, the Thalion.
Yeah.
You were the one who established the naming convention when you sent me that file. The
That
Thalion.
probably nuked our searchability from the get-go.
From the get-go. That's why we started adding the titles to this.
Yeah. So,
picture this. It's a dead Friday evening, and your friends text you, and they say they want to go see a double feature at the local Cineplex.
Sounds like fun.
I'd say so. I'd say so. But when you get there, you roll up to the box office, and you find that what you thought was a double feature is actually 2 movies playing at the same time.
Oh my god.
So now you have a hard ticket to choose between 2 features. And in this first proof of concept episode of our show, we like to think your very first choice is a particularly hard one because, Tristan, between the 2 of these, can you tell us about option number A?
Well, option number A, we have Alien. It's a classic 1979 sci-fi horror film. And it was directed by Ridley Scott, and most people will probably be familiar with this movie because it has a long and storied history in franchise canon. And but if you need a refresher, Alien is a movie about family.
I'll just say that our theme song originally was not like our actual Hard Ticket theme. It was the Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
I literally just ripped it from Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Yeah.
Yes, which is great because I re-listened to that episode like for the first time like in a year recently. Actually, it was for our Hard Clip It clip show because I was like, I wonder if there's anything in here. Nothing that great. I mean, obviously it was a first episode. My mic was still like my snowball mic that sucks.
Yeah.
We had never done the format before, but no, it was a lot of fun. That was back in April. I have a lot of positive memories. Do you have a favorite episode maybe that you've done?
My favorite episode of the show? I think the one I've gone back to the most has probably been our Mel Gibson episode.
Really?
The Brave Patriot Heart, just because your scenario, your question at the end about like put a founding father cameo in the Patriot, I laugh every time. Sometimes I'm like, I need a good laugh today. I'm going to pull up that part. In terms of the discussions we've had, I actually think our season 2 on the subject of Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Mungo episode, I think we dug up some really good stuff in that one.
I think so. I think that was a really good discussion. I have a couple like favorite funny episodes. Like if I want to listen to something funny, Brave Patriot Heart is like top of the list. The Click Almighty episode was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
I think the I re-listened to the National Treasure blind spots. I was just like at the gym yesterday and I was almost laughing just like in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
And it was a great episode. That was a lot of fun. For discussions, like for like actual like thematic discussions, like weighty discussions, I think one of my favorite moments, and it's been a long time, but it was the Big Rat Chef moment where where I did like the whole like Father, Son, Holy Spirit thing.
I could never watch that movie the same way again.
Oh yeah. Once I hit upon it when I watched it, I was like, I can't wait to share this with you all.
Yeah.
Like I love like whenever we're able to like sit down and just like come up with just weird theories for movies, why they all come together. Like the I think Evil Dead 2. We were talking about like the Reaganite like
defending my homestead. But the home comes to life. Yes,
talking about the vagina dentata and Jaws and stuff. Like no, we've had a lot of fun just like talking about like weird ideas and themes, and also just laughing about stupid stuff.
We've had some great guests too.
Yes.
Like we started off just bringing on friends of mine. And we've met people and have friends now that we kind of met through discourse around podcasting and movies. I loved having my buddy Rob Simmons on back in season 1. We did our first and only so far video episode.
Yes.
And Rob and I have just been friends and creative collaborators for years. Like we've known each other for so long. But yeah. Rob lives in a van. He had a lot of insight to bring to Nomadland in particular. So
he's a good guy too.
And some of my favorite watching experiences were when we actually got to go to the movies, like when we saw Hundreds of Beavers with Josh and Grayson, and when we saw The Room and Big Shark, which might be a core memory at this point. Same with National Treasure.
Best time I had at the movie theaters last year for sure. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Big Shark was insane. And watching The Room for the first time with Josh, who had never seen it.
Yes.
Oh my God. That's great. There's nothing like it. You love to show these movies to people. And we love movies. That's why we do this. We're big movie guys. What do we got coming out? We got a little special thing. We got a little special thing going on. I'll just say this, folks. We're sitting down and watching 12 and a half hours of movies tomorrow, and it's only... we're only getting started. But there's going to be a big, fat episode, or maybe 2 episodes coming out in December.
Right.
And this is sort of going to be the culmination of our second year of being a podcasting duo.
It shouldn't be hard to surmise what that is based on that info, but hey... you gotta let them. You just give them as much as they need.
They're on the hook. They're on the hook.
It.
You gotta reel them in. We've reached the end of Hard Ticket. It's been a year of Hard Ticket. Oh my gosh, we're at the end. This is our 44th matchup. A nice round number.
Even number. Divisible by 11.
I was about to say divisible by 11. 4 times 11. Jeff, this could go either way.
It really can.
Because it's, as we talked about, both these films are so deserving of their superlatives. Either the best, worst movie or the worst, best movie. I guess that doesn't really work for that one. But they are these are moments. You have to watch these movies if you're a fan of film. They're like the biggest things. Like it's a rite of passage. It's a rite of passage.
It is.
And which one you're going to go back to and revisit in a movie theater, maybe with people in it, might sway your decision. And I don't know. I genuinely have no idea which one you're going to pick. But I've stalled long enough.
Yeah, no, this has the most valence of any episode we've done. So I really do think this is the one that could go either way the most.
I think
possibly.
I think of everything we've ever done, except for maybe the Mario and Mandalorian movie. But then that still had the bias of you're a Mario fan first and I'm a Star Wars fan first.
Yeah.
This is like, these are both a really funny movie and a really great dramatic film. So what can we pick?
What can we pick? Like I said, I've seen The Room so many times, and yet, like, the second to last time I watched it in Harrisburg was electric, and with Big Shark and everything attached to it too. It was like I would see The Room any day of the week. I really would. I thought I was about to say, but I'd rather watch Citizen Kane because I want to see it on a big screen. Am I still going to say that?
Are you still going to say it? Oh my gosh, I can't handle it.
No, I think I have to watch Citizen Kane at least once in a theater. I haven't seen it in a theater, and revisiting it this time around was like, there was so much I hadn't appreciated when I was in high school, and watching it, I was like, this is just, I can't believe how timeless it is. I can't believe how relevant it is. I can't believe how good it is. It is like a contemporary movie, assembled like a contemporary movie with the transitions and the camera moves. There's a shot that pushes into a rooftop in the rain. It goes through a sign, then it goes through a window, and it's like, it reminded me of Phantom of the Paradise, which probably clearly took inspiration from it. Like so many things have taken inspiration from Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark took inspiration with the warehouse at the end and everything. And we'll be talking about that in a few weeks too. But
oh my god, he's wrestling.
I am. This is the hardest. I really, dude. I'm gonna pick The Room. I'm gonna pick The Room. Holy man! I did not. I just talked myself into it.
But you didn't even talk yourself into it.
No, I didn't.
You're talking about Citizen Kane.
I was. I gotta pick The Room. I have to pick The Room.
Is that your final answer?
No.
Comment down below.
I guess
what
I
Jeff
have
should
to pick something. I have to pick something. Or I don't have to pick, do I?
Oh my God. You're always saying that I can't bend the rules, and now you're going to bend the rules.
Well.
It's a special occasion.
I mean, I think I watched The Room this morning, and I was like, it was like going through the motions by myself on the couch for this episode. I was like, whatever. But in a theater.
Spoons.
No, I'm doing the responsible thing. I'm going to watch Citizen Kane. I'm going to watch Citizen Kane, dude. Final answer.
Are you locked in?
I'm locked in.
All right.
Where are you going?
That was nerve-wracking. I think I'm sweating right now. Oh my God. So Citizen Kane goes to you. You know, it's playing up in Pittsburgh here next month.
Oh my
At
God.
the AMC. Yeah.
When? We got to go.
It's early July. We'll go see it.
Yes. Yes. Walked right into that one,
It's excluded from A-list, though, so we do have to pay to see it.
God damn it.
I'm not going to see it anymore.
Something it has in common with the amazing Digital Circus movie that's out right now, too. Anyway.
So no matter what you were going to pick, I was going to pick the opposite.
So you really were waiting for me to make
Yes.
my answer.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So I'm going to go
You always have this advantage too on this show.
I do. Yeah, well, that's my privilege as the co-host. You're kind of like the main host. You like come in, you're like, "Hey, everybody, I'm hard ticket."
Your dad called me the man with the golden voice.
That's right. He said, "You're the man with the voice for radio," and then he said, "Saving Private Ryan is badass." That's my dad.
That's great, though. I love how you made that pact with yourself.
I knew it before going in because I couldn't decide, and I was like,
oh my God.
I was like, I'm going to let Jeff decide for me. And watching you wrestle over it, I know that you had the same dilemma as me.
Yeah, man.
But your sacrifice frees me to pick The Room, which I have already seen 5 times in a movie theater.
Yeah.
Maybe 6. I'm going to go see it again, which would be the 7th time.
You have seen it in the theater.
My 6th or 7th time. Broccoli haircut. Bussin'.
Timeless.
Timeless. So I'm going to go see The Room again. It's a shame. The only downside is I have to see it without you because we've seen it together like 3 times.
We're doing our duty, though. This is the dutiful episode.
We're responsible.
Well, folks, that's going to do it for us on this happy anniversary 1 year of Hard Ticket episode. Thank you guys for listening. If you've been listening since the beginning, you bought our love. You bought it by listening. And if you weren't there from the beginning and you've tuned in ever since, then thank you. It really means so much to us. Everybody who listens, everybody who streams, everybody who talks to us, because we are always looking for suggestions. We have a big old sheet. We will never run out of movie matchups. We will only run out of energy to do them. So open to ideas at any point. We've met some awesome people, and the next awesome person we're going to meet could be listening right now. So thank you guys. Thank you, Jared Tadlock, for designing our brand elements, keeping our podcast looking fresh. Thank you, Aaron Griffin, for mixing and mastering our theme song. As established, love the theme song. It's not just a rip straight from the movie anymore. In fact,
it's not AI either, which we should say.
It's not AI. Actually, Aaron is a great mixologist, not in the sense that
alcoholic
we usually
sense.
use that for. He's great. He's actually got a band, The Far Side. You should check him out. Tristan, why don't you plug your socials and everything?
Yeah, I mean, you can follow me on Letterboxd, Tristan Moore. You can follow me on Instagram at Tristan__less. Follow the podcast on Instagram at HardTicketPod. You can email the podcast, hardticketpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Give us a like, rate us 5 stars. Don't rate us anything below 5 stars. We'll know.
We will.
We'll know.
It'll show up.
It shows up. Comment, we love hearing. It's like Jeff's saying, we love hearing from people. We have had so much fun doing this. It's refreshing being able to talk about films, talk about something you love, and not just do it into the ether. Although I think honestly, if we only got like 1 or 2 views a week, I think we'd still do this. Like I would still just enjoy talking about films. I think this is such a fun matchup idea. I think the premise is so much fun, and I think it's also a great time capsule. It's like we were saying, like anytime you want that laugh, you just go to the Brave Patriot Heart.
And no shame in that either. I love it is a time capsule. Listening back to the conversations we had with people. We watch movies all the time. We watch them even more now for the podcast. And we're watching 12 and a half hours of them tomorrow. So it's a good time. You can follow me on Letterboxd as well at Jeff Blogus, all lowercase, all one word. Again, check out Watch This List. I was just on a new episode. Amy Hinserling is an incredibly talented podcast host, and her content is amazing as always. Coming up in the pipeline, we have another hot ticket coming at you.
Our second hot ticket.
A second hot ticket. It is Spielberg summer after all, and we might have designed it around this movie coming out. We're talking, of course, about Disclosure Day. I do believe it's getting positive early reviews.
Amazingly. Amazingly. I mean, I'm so...
Not about the CGI animals, of course.
But it makes me so happy that it is. But also, I saw a clip today that might explain why the animals look so fake. I'm not going to tell you.
Oh.
But I think I might know.
I'm just going to go in blind then.
Go in blind, yeah. So, no, this is good because I was like, oh God, it looks awful. But then people are saying it's good. And I'm like, Are they just saying it because he's old, or?
Okay, well, we're going to find out next week, and we're going to tell you guys, and a bunch of you will probably see it too, so I'm excited to have that conversation as well. But until then, we'll see you guys at the movies.
Ciao.
God, forgive me.
It's a hard ticket at the movies. Which one will you watch? Let's decide. It's a hard